The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome. Hello, everybody. This is Delisa Medlin with TopBuilder Solutions, and we are so excited to have so many of our partners joining us today and even a few new potential partners. So we're excited to share with you where Quote Builder is today, if you will. Some of you have seen it and been on demos where we've been showing it. But it has continued to evolve, and we felt like it was time to share this, not just a demo, but also selling points, what to look for when you're talking to your prospects in helping uncover their needs and how to address them. So I'm going to turn it over to Dave Knowles, our founder and lead engineer on TopBuilder Quoting, and let him take it away. At the end, we will have hopefully some time for questions. So if questions come up, feel free throughout the webinar to go ahead and enter those into the little text box. Thank you. Dave, all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Delisa. Delisa, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, thank you everybody for joining. We've got something extremely exciting to show you today. Which is the TopBuilder Quoting module. We call it TopBuilder Quoting Plus, and we're going to explain the plus part of it during the webinar today. I wanted to start off with mentioning this has been out there for a little while. It's been in production since, well, late summer, and we've had several builders using it already, residential builders and commercial contractors, and we internally have been using it for, well, since the summer as well, to quote our projects. And also some of the partners that I can see in the attendee list today have signed up their customers as well. So our partners have been promoting it and selling it, and they have their customers using it as well. So we're real excited about this, and hope you are too. Okay, so here's what we're going to be covering today. First of all, we're going to talk about what it is. Quoting can mean a lot of different things, I think. And so we're just going to cover really what do we mean when we say TopBuilder Quoting? What does it do? What is it? Who's the target customers, and what kind of problems is it expecting to solve for your clients? We'll talk about the value proposition. There's some interesting numbers to support the value proposition here. We're going to do a demo on how it works. I'll walk you through a little bit about how it works on a slide, but most of that will be a demo. And we're going to do a Q&A, and then we're going to cover next steps. And we have scheduled this for 30 minutes, and we are going to try to keep to that time, keep it short. And this is going to be a live interactive demo, guys and gals. So, you know, we're actually going to send a quote to my Gmail account. We're going to view it, review it. We're going to accept it. We're going to sign it, and we're going to watch it being tracked the whole way. So this is live. We're living on the edge here. So, but we're confident. It's been out there for a while, so we're really comfortable with it. Okay, so what is TopBuilder Quoting Plus? I think the obvious part of this is, you know, it's a tool for contractors and home builders, including some general contractors will be using this as well, but mainly subcontractors and home builders, to quote their jobs. That's the primary piece of it. But they're also using it to quote work orders and change orders when they come up on jobs as well, or a homeowner, if they have something that comes up on a home, they have change orders, which is normal. They can quote that as well. The quoting module is going to allow the contractor or the home builder to quote a job, or they can pop out a quote directly for a customer, a client. You know, if they're working with a customer and they say, I need something taken care of really quickly, they can just pop out a quote, and they don't have to create a lead or an opportunity and manage that whole thing. They can just pop out a quick quote and manage it against that customer, that client, or they can do it against the contact, a person. Many of our contractors work with homeowners or consumers, and they quote directly to the individuals. And so you can use the quoting module to do that as well. Now, what makes this kind of fancy, you can work up the quote, the pricing, the margins and discounts and everything like that. But what makes this really neat is part of the output of the quote can be a contract that they sign. It can be an addendum or multiple addendums that they can upload, and we all have those addendums, right? Cover letters can be added to it, and then they can include job notes. Or, many times when they quote a job, they can include, the scope or the exclusions or the inclusions of the job right there with the quote, and it's all contained nicely in one quote. Again, adding on to the advanced features of TopBuilder Quoting, this allows you to distribute the quote just like a DocuSign through a distribution system, through emails, but also you're able to track that. You'll know when it was sent, you'll know when it was received, if it was received, when it was reviewed by the customer, and of course when it's been accepted or declined. You'll also get alerts and tracking. So alerts come in the form of an email. Your quote has been reviewed, your quote has been accepted, but you can also go directly into TopBuilder and see what's going on. You can track it, see what's happening and when it happened. Part of this is electronically accepting the quote. So they accept the quote through a button, and they can provide a reason and comments for why they accept and decline the quote. And the really fancy thing as well is capturing an electronic signature. Very similar to DocuSign, but they can also collect data along with that quote and the acceptance of that quote, like payment information or a purchase order, where to send the invoice, any information you want to collect along with the electronic signature. And then the document is stored in TopBuilder as one PDF with all the addendums, all the attachments, all the notes, and the electronic signature. You're also able to manage and organize all of your quotes and the status of those quotes by the job, the client, or the contact. It's pretty cool. All right, so I think this is fairly obvious, but one of the things I want to mention is where this fits into the entire process when you're managing jobs and leads, because this is part of CRM. It's internally integrated into the TopBuilder CRM, and it fits real nicely into the process flow of managing a lead or a job, where you're managing the opportunity, you're managing the bids that are coming in. If you're a contractor, managing multiple bids for a job, then you can spit out a quote right from there when you're ready to quote it. And then hopefully it'll move on into the construction phase where we integrate it to your ERP or your job cost accounting system. Now, one thing that's really neat about this is you can, parts and the costs and the margins are maintained typically in your job cost accounting system or you're in your ERP, and those change. We all know the costs change, the margins change, and we'll pull those in from your job cost accounting or your ERP, and we'll update them with the updated costs or the margins. But you can also pull the data in from Excel, and we'll update them, the costs, the descriptions, the price, the margin. And of course, you can manually enter them as well directly in the quoting module. And we're going to show you how to do that. Okay, so fantastic. Okay, so who cares? Why is this important? Well, we've tracked a lot of this, and we're working on some more testimonials and case studies on this. But if you look at the entire process that you go through to manage a quote, you have to obviously go find, if you're on Excel, you need to go find the worksheet, open up the worksheet, potentially copy the worksheet, work up the quote. You're able to maybe cut and paste that into Word, create a PDF, email it, follow up on it to make sure they got it, follow up to see if they had any questions. Check the status, get the quote back, save that quote in the PDF to a hard drive somewhere, update the status in your CRM. It's a long process, especially when you're chasing the customer. We've followed all these steps And we brought that down from about 90 minutes. This is a typical process that they go through, down to about 10 to 15 minutes. So we saved them about 90% of the time. And what this allows them to do, not only save time, but quote more jobs. We've had customers come in and say, well, before TopBuilder, I could only respond to 1 out of 20 quotes. Now I can respond to many more quotes because I can do it quicker. Okay. Also, the quality of the output is fantastic. You'll see that in the demo. It's professional. It's all your documents are contained in one PDF, including your addendums, your contract potentially, notes about the job, and of course the worksheet as well. And it just looks good. I don't know if any of you guys do this, but before we had the quoting module, we would cut and paste from Excel, into Word. We'd make mistakes, silly things like typos. I've seen them in our customer quotes before they had the quoting module, and this gets rid of that, or at least minimizes it. And of course, this is secure and accessible by anybody, so that your quoting information is secure in the system. And if you want to go look up history or get a quote and copy it and create a new one, it's there. It's available. And there is a direct cost reduction. DocuSign, as an example, the minimum charge for a user is $120 a year, and they're only limited to 5 quotes a month. And they're going to do many more than that, but there is a direct cost savings over using something like DocuSign. Okay, so fantastic. So how it works is we're going to provide you the ability to store the quote items, organize those quote items in categories and types, like labor and materials, and they're all customizable. You can customize these things. We're going to integrate it with your job cost accounting system, and then of course you can prepare the quote, send the quote, add logo and branding, track it, and then store the received document and signed document. And I'm going to demo that for you right now. Okay, so let's fire up TopBuilder. I'm already logged in, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find a job that I've been trying to secure, and you'll see I have all the details on the job, but I also have the quotes that I've prepared for this job. And we got a whole bunch of them in here because we use this for demos, so bear with me. I'm able to take that quote and I can copy. Let me get my console out of the way here. I can copy a quote for that customer, for that contact, or for the job. Maybe I did one and it wasn't right, or they rejected it for whatever reason, and create a new one. Or I can just go in, I'm going to grab one that I've already got under draft here, or I can go in and I can create a brand new one from scratch. Okay, but if I go in and I grab one of these quotes that I've already started, what you're going to see here is your categories, your part categories. And we use window and door manufacturer as our example. Everybody knows what a window and a door is, so it's pretty easy. But you can see how they can organize their parts and their quote items into a hierarchy of categories. It could be one level, it could be multiple levels here, but this also comes in from Excel or from your job cost accounting system or your ERP. And once I've got all my categories set up, I can add my quote items to those categories, okay? And again, this can come from Excel or directly out of your job cost accounting. And then once I'm ready to go ahead and add those to my quote, I just select the items I want to include, okay? And I can add items on the fly, just so we know here. We can, because everybody doesn't have all their parts perfect in the system before they begin a quote, so they may want to add items on the fly. And you're able to do that, giving it a name, a description, unit of measure, if it's a manufacturer's part number, all the things that you see here on your screen. And then once they're added, you can go in and select the items, okay? And then once you select the items, you're able to change the description just for that quote. You're able to specify the quantities. Let's just say 25 of these. You can adjust the cost on the fly and also adjust the markup. So let's say I'm going to mark this one up 25%. Okay, now if it's a fixed price item, you don't have the cost, you don't have the markup, but you can go in and you can adjust the price on the fly if you need to, and it's only for this quote. It doesn't affect your master parts list, but you can adjust the quantity there. And let me get this out of the way so you can see everything. And then what you can also do is specify some notes. This is a certain item, a custom item, any notes that you want to include here. Let me just type something in. This is a note. And then you can specify the order in which you want it to appear on the output of the quote. Okay. While we're doing this, we're keeping a running total of how many items are included on the quote, what your total cost is for your cost plus items, what your markup is, and you can adjust the overall markup. So you can see here, I'm only getting about 15% on this job. That's not a lot. So you can adjust the overall markup. Let's say you want to say it's 20%, 30%, whatever. And then your fixed price items obviously are down below here. Subtotal it. You can apply a discount. You can add tax. Not very many people do this. And then it totals it up. And all this is happening as you're adjusting your quote worksheet or your quote workup. It's also very nice to be able to go in and say, well, I want to go find my labor and add that now, so I can filter by labor or materials. Very easy to do. I can search for items very easily as well. All right. So now that I've got my workup done, what I'm able to do is I can go in and add some text for the cover letter, if I have a cover letter in the quote, and then scope of work or notes or anything that you want to add to the quote. I'll show you where that appears in the output. We all know how this works. Exclusions, inclusions, scope, other items you want to include. What's also kind of neat is a lot of the contractors that we work with and that you work with as our partners have multiple divisions or maybe multiple companies, business entities that work within their corporate company, and they may have different branding or logos. And so you can select the logo or the branding you would like to use for the output of the quote. And then you can also add addendums. Upload addendums. It could be anything. Project manager profile. It could be images. It could be photos. Whatever you want to upload to attach as well, you can do here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and set the expiration date to January the 3rd. And since I'm now happy with where everything is, I can go in and I can view that quote. And you can see that it's going to produce a very good-looking, professional-looking quote. And it's helpful to kind of show everything on one page so you can easily see all the addendums and the attachments. Okay? So let me do that now. And if I zoom in and out the scroll bar, let me get rid. Hopefully you can see this okay. Okay, so one of the things that comes with TopBuilder Quoting out of the box are different templates or output formats for your quote. So I can show line items and quantities summarizing by the categories, okay? I can show just my line items. I can show just the categories and summarize the categories. I can show the types and the line items within types. This is your labor, this is your materials. Or I can just show the types, or I can just show a lump sum total and it slaps a cover letter on the front of it. Okay, and you'll notice here you don't see any discounts. If I applied some sort of discounts, the discount would show up here, but if I don't apply a discount, we get rid of that field altogether. That way they don't come and ask for a discount if you don't have one showing, if you have a zero amount. Also, we support custom templates. So we can customize the quoting templates for the customer. This is our template, the TopBuilder template here. I have a home builder contract in the demo. I have a home builder price request in the demo. And I have the window and door manufacturer template or installer template in here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and select the TopBuilder custom template because this is the one we typically use. You can see that we included spaces for them to initial the terms in the agreement. You can see that we include a place to capture payment information and signatures. And then we have our addendums attached to the bottom of it. Okay. Now I can go ahead and send that quote. Okay. But before I do that, I want to do something really cool. I'm going to close this and I'm going to view the status. And I'm going to say this quote has not yet been sent. This is the tracking information. But if I go view that quote again, and I go ahead and send it, it's going to my Gmail account. And I can also add additional folks that are attached to my TopBuilder contact list. Okay, I can add attachments from our content center or from my hard drive. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and send it. Okay. So now the quote has been sent to the customer. Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and look at the tracking information, and now you'll see the quote has been sent. This is exactly 12:22 p.m. This is Central Time. It was just sent. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bounce over to my Gmail account, and you will see that the quote is there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open that quote, or the email, I should say. And then when I go back to the tracking details, check it out. It's actually updated the tracking information to say the quote has been opened. Okay, and I'm also going to get an email indicating the same. All right, so now if I go to my email and I click review document, okay, it's going to open up that quote in your web browser. And if I go back to TopBuilder and I look at the tracking details, check it out. It's been reviewed. Super cool. All right. Now as the customer, I'm going to review this quote. I can scroll down. All right. I can sign it, and forgive me for using my mouse here, but that's all I don't have my finger on. This is not a touch screen. You'll notice that the scope of work is still in here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I wish to pay by check. Send the email, the invoice to davek@aol.com. That's not a real email address. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign it. Okay. And then I can accept it or decline it. Now, if I decline it, I have to specify a reason why I'm declining it. If I accept it, I don't have to do that. But let's just say I want to do it anyways. Okay. Partner demo is going great. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and accept that. Okay. This is what the customer sees. And now I go back to TopBuilder Quoting and I look at the tracking details, and you can see it's now been accepted. And you know when it was accepted, what the reason was, and then you have the comments. Okay, now I'm going to refresh my screen here, and what I'll also be able to see is the approved and signed quote right in TopBuilder. So it's all together in one document. This is my sloppy signature and all the information I just entered. Okay, all together into one document. Okay. And I can also go back and see this if I want to go manage quotes. I searched for it. I've got that information right here on my manage quotes page. I've got the tracking information right here on my manage quotes page. And if I go in, let's just say I go to that customer and I want to look at the customer information. I'm going to type in something in the search bar here, find that customer. And then under the customer, I go to quotes. And sorry, I have a ton of them for this customer because I use it for demos. But here it is, the status. the tracking information, and the approved PDF, again, is right here available to me. Okay. Now, of course, it's a PDF, and if you really wanted to, you could save it to your hard drive, but you don't have to. The PDF is here. It's secure. It's available for the customer, the job, and the contact anytime you want to go back and look at it. Okay. Now, one of the things that we also do that you'll notice is if I go in here and I try to access that quote again, and it will secure it so that it cannot be changed after it's been accepted. Okay? Fantastic. All right, so that's the demo, and I've got about 4 minutes left. I'm going to go back to the presentation, and I wanted to show you, since we don't have time to show the home builder version of it, I wanted to show you typically when a home builder will use this, they're really not quoting items. They're really quoting like a home with the selections and the options and the additions or the changes to a base plan. You can quote a job if you're a custom builder from scratch, but typically our home builders will use it in this way, where they have a base model or price of the home, and then they have changes or upgrades that they quote. And then they can flip that into a price request that they get approval on, or they flip it into a contract and they send that contract out for signature. Okay? All right, cool. So that's it. Do we have any questions?
Not right now. If anybody has any questions, this would be a good time to type them in.
Okay, I guess we don't have any questions. That surprises me, but that's okay. If you do have questions after today, we're going to send out an email, a follow-up email to each partner individually with this recording. We did do a promotional video of TopBuilder Quoting and we'll send you a link to that. It's on our YouTube channel, and some sales collateral. And then if you have any questions, let us know. We are going to make a couple PR announcements on the quoting module, probably not this year, but in January. And then, of course, if you have any questions, please let us know. And our contact information will be on this presentation. You'll be able to reach Delisa. On the last slide, we have the contact information. And I nailed it. It is 2 minutes ahead of time.
Good. And Dolores, thank you. She said she's glad she took the time to review. So that's great feedback. Thank you. Guys, I'll be following up with y'all as well. So you can look for a call from me in the